Hello YouTube and welcome to GrunfWorks. This is episode 83 of the Interplanetary Voyage of Exploration, and in previous episode we have successfully sent station part to Minmus with little less successful landing. Today we have lots of things to do. First thing being the arrival of the exploration ship around Jool. So here you can see me at a decent time acceleration. I am fiddling with the maneuver node to make sure that our exploration ship gets to the correct alignment to go around Jool. And I'm trying to secure a Lathe encounter actually, because both of our exploration ships will be stationed around Lathe. I changed my mind. Simply because there's much more there to explore. We need the stations there as we will be landing on Lathe, and there is no really big point on having things around Jool. So yes, that's kind of the idea. Okay, so this is the exploration Mark 1. It's the Comm's one. So right now I'm just trying to fiddle to get a correct encounter with Lathe. And yeah, so the exploration 2 ship has already arrived at Lathe, and it's waiting for science. But since we don't have a valid communications network deployed yet, I don't want to risk actually us I really don't want to risk deploying any of the probes. So I have decided we have some amount of days until our burn window. So okay, now we're burning to intercept Lathe. Oop, I think I overdid it a little bit. So I'm just trying to align it back. 11 meters per second burn, sure. Let's execute it. That's supposed to happen in 6 days. By the way, guys, I'm a little bit sorry. This will be a little bit more time accelerated because I want to do a lot of things. So, yeah. And I think that should secure us a capture. Looks good in my book. Okay. Now, let's see. Probe, nuke. We have still our nuke probe hanging around here, which we eventually do want to eject back to Kerbin. So let us see how well does our transfer look like. So I'm thinking maybe around here, and let's see, it's gonna happen in 14 days. So let's just assume, and this node is in 17 days. So I'm actually tweaking it to be around 14 days, and then I'm trying to figure out the maneuver itself, ejection angles, delta V's and stuff. So we are around, this is around Kerbin, so let's see how does our ejection burn look like. 1500, which is, well, we have more than enough, but it's a little bit of tweaking now until we actually get that Kerbin encounter. So let's see how that one will pan out. Ooh, it looks quite nice actually. Okay, so a little bit more fiddling left or right, and we should, and here we go. Perfect. 1564. Cool. Okay, that basically secures us an encounter. I'm trying to fiddle if I can get it any closer, but if not, I'm more than happy as is. So I think I'll leave it at that, and I'll just fix it once we get closer. Much closer. Okay, maybe we can do it a little bit closer though. Okay. Something along those lines. Yeah. It looks promising. Anyway, so that's for our nuke probe 1, the one that has already gotten us a nice, healthy chunk of science. Cool. Okay. So, target Kerbin. I'm just waiting until my flight computer executes all of its tasks. I don't want some tasks to be sticking out because my experiences with it are pretty bad actually. So, okay. So in 17 days we have the burn, and in 20 days our Comm's ship would be entering the Kerbin sphere of or Lathe sphere of influence. So, okay, coming up on our planned maneuver. Thank you for the alert. Okay. Screenshot time. One final graze and one final look at Jool, and we are off on our merry way. So, burning for the Jool ejection towards Kerbin. It is time to return our probe with a huge load of science. By the way, I realized now that I should have probably at some point dumped the side booster or side tanks, but I think I'm gonna do it as soon as my burn finishes because I really don't want to risk anything. I have enough Delta V, so I'm not really that dependent on shedding every ounce of weight that I have, so yeah. Although I could have done it much more optimized, but okay. Okay, 100 meters per second, and we will have another 400 to spare for the actual alignment. Cool. Toggle SAS, kill rotation, and let's just make sure that things happen. And time to focus on our Jool communications one. Perfect, so let's see. Let us do some time warping, and our second Jool exploration ship is closing in on Lathe. So, yeah, we will have 2 Jool ships stationed around Lathe. One in the higher orbit, one in the lower orbit, and I think it will work overall pretty nice. So, okay, changing the sphere of influence very soon. And perfect. And at this point I want to just burn retrograde to make sure that I get captured around Lathe. And I do want to have a higher orbit, so 1000 or 2000, by probably 2000 is somewhere where I'm gonna keep, or 1500 maybe, yeah. 1500 sounds reasonable enough. I'm making a test burn to see how long will that burn take, and it will take 10 minutes. So I just wanted to make sure that I once again fix my apoapsis and periapsis and that I perform the burn. The test burn was actually needed very much to ensure to see how much time do we really need to burn ahead. Since our flight computer we haven't executed any burns like very recently, so it's good that we know what our thrust to weight and all those parameters are. It's pretty beefy, I mean 6.8. It's very nice. Okay, and burning retrograde. Hi, Lathe. Yes, slowly but surely we're coming for you. Okay. Not the best, but still pretty decent. I'm happy the way that it looks. making sure that we align the craft correctly. And yeah, I was trying to find a good balance between acceleration for you guys, video acceleration and playability, because yeah, like I said, I played with like 1 to 2 frames per second with these ships, so I was accelerating around 7 to 8. So that's why you see sometimes things going spasmic. Otherwise, you would see a bloody like slideshow when it comes to ships turning. Okay, so we have positioned that craft also in the orbit around Lathe. One thing, guys, that we need to think of is we currently do have the long-range communication satellites, but all of them are pointing to the active craft. So playing with remote tech, my experience tells me that this is never a good setup. Because imagine the scenario. We are at our exploration ship and we deploy a probe. Then probe becomes the active craft, no longer the exploration ship, which means that the probe from that point is a dead stick, because the probe only has the range to connect to the exploration ship, and all of the Kerbin satellites are targeting the probe instead of exploration ship. So that's why, specifically for the Jool missions, I'm creating actually a special Jool communication satellite that will be actually targeting the actual exploration craft. So exploration 1 and 2. And maybe some others. Maybe one will target Lathe in general and stuff. So because I want to have a little bit of redundancy here. So the point of this communication satellite is to have 4 antennas, and all 4 of them should be capable of reaching Jool. Whether all 4 of them will be switched on or not, that's for us to distinguish at a later time. So we'll actually figure that out later. But I still want to have some leeway. So adding all of the antennas, batteries, then we'll need some solar power or generation or RTGs. Communitrons, obviously, for relaying signal back to Kerbin. Sure. Then maybe some lighting, and I think, yeah, nuclear radio isotope generators, because who doesn't want to have nukes? They're just fun. Okay, so with that in mind, I'm thinking of a little bit redundancy when it comes to antennas. Generation, we should have more generation than we really need. Then I'm looking for some lighting, because nobody wants a dark satellite, right? I'm trying to find a good angle here. And of course, green and red. I just kind of like that kind of feel when making satellites. I know it comes from the maritime actually lighting, but it's kind of fun. Cool. Okay, so that in mind, let us put the rocket fuel tank, SAS, and some, I would guess, thrusters. The whole satellite doesn't need to be overly complex. Just enough thrust to weight, just enough, rocket engines, and then we want to put them in some sort of a fairing, I guess, before we actually launch it. So let's see. Oh yeah. I also figured maybe put some Gigantors, just because we can. Like you know, guys, I tend to over-engineer my craft a whole lot, so don't be surprised. Let's just say this, suffice to say that this satellite will have no problems whatsoever with the power generation. Okay, maybe a couple of cameras. Maybe if we ever decide to take a look. And then let's see fairings. Ooh, that one is tight. Oh, it just might work. I'm trying to actually squeeze this one in. I do like minimalistic design, so yeah, let's strut it here. Okay. Communitron toggle. And we have... Oh yeah, I remember that if you strut things, it's always better to put it on a Separatron, because when the Separatron separates, then the struts go away. It's one cool tip that I learned. Okay, fairings are closed. That means we can actually build the body of the rocket. Beautiful. Nothing too fancy. What does our delta V look like? Thrust wind 1.86 and 6000 delta V. Wow. That actually sounds beautiful. 5.9. I don't know. Sounds feasible enough, I guess. Let us just check the staging and... yeah. We don't need to make it more complex than that. I don't think so. I'm just making sure that all of my basically stages are set correct, and let's build it. So the whole point of this building was to make sure that we actually, when we launch the satellites, I'm hoping that we will be able to constantly maintain connection to the Kerbal Space Center. So, and this one I'm planning to launch polar orbit, not too high up actually. So yeah. Okay, getting ready for the launch. And let's launch it. We should have enough delta V. And the rocket design is pretty simple, so I'm just slowly angling it towards north. Like I said, polar orbit, guys. And yeah. Let's see how that will go. Okay, our apoapsis is already at 100. Well, a horrific gravity turn, but what can you do? So, like I said, I suck at them. 1952, and we have total delta V more than enough. Let's ditch the fairing and turn on the lights. We decided to extend also the Communitron, just to make sure that we can actually talk to the KSC, so yeah. And all the relays. Burning for the circularization, and so basically what I'm hoping for is nice 100 by maybe, I don't know, more orbit. But we are currently 100 by 100, so, well, let's just see. Maybe a closer orbit isn't that bad, but I still do want to extrude it a little bit. And I'm thinking maybe, I don't know, 5, maybe 750. That should be enough, right? So yeah, 750 by 750 roughly. So making sure that we get to our maneuver node, and then I will be kicking the gas. And coming ever so closer over the poles, and we are correctly aligned, so let's just kick the sucker, shall we? I mean, I really like the satellite design. It's pretty simplistic, nothing really, overly complicated, but still serves a pretty decent purpose. So 750 by 100 and another fix up at the periapsis, or currently at the apoapsis, and to make it 750 by 750, I guess. I believe I lost the maneuver node there for some reason. Okay. 750 by 750. Sure. Very simple to turn because we're using like SAS men for much bigger rockets. So it's at least very obedient. Okay, and coming up on our circularization burn once again, and hit it. Okay, perfect. 750 by 750. I don't need it to be exact, but yeah. Okay, so let us open to a degree, and we lost one. Antenna, because I was stupid enough to forget to deploy the stack separator. Well, no matter. First one, exploration 1, comms, open. Second, exploration 2, science, activate. And the third one, I'll actually use to target the Sarnus nuke probe. Because, well, I don't know, for some reason we might want to actually communicate with that one. Perfect, I'm trying to find a good angle, but it's just simply not the case. Okay guys, so we have deployed this satellite, and in some future episodes we will actually do stuff and do some orbital operations around Lathe, where we will be deploying our satellite network. But that will be happening in a future episodes. Thank you very much for watching. Like if you liked the episode, and hit that subscribe button for more KSP content that should be coming soon. Once again, thank you very much for watching. This is GrunfWorks signing off.